My third guy plays some games.
Alright, hi everybody. Weather Guy here. We are back with more of the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're in the middle of a recess in the trial of the great departed soul. I believe we're about to have some new witnesses introduced, so that's exciting. We've already talked to Gregson a bit, and we talked to Hairbrain a bit on the witness stand, so yeah, things are going pretty smoothly so far. And we're going to see if we can continue to go smoothly and avoid strikes and all that, but although things are going smoothly, I still have no clue as far as the perpetrator or the method or what actually happened. All I know is I'm like 90% confident that Hairbrain's innocent, right?
Mr. Rio, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather,
And he's obsessed with getting his hypothesis proven, right?
what on earth were y'all playing at all? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis. You've been picking holes on it from the start.
Sorry about that.
Well, you promised me. You said you proved that trial explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me.
Poor guy, huh? Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. Fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
But if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete.
And the reason why we were able to disprove his hypothesis last time, pretty much, was because the murder weapon appears to be a screwdriver, and he claims that metal is not transported, and that's why the screwdriver stayed behind when the screwdriver was supposed to be lodged in his chest, in the victim's chest. But the victim had glasses on, spectacles that had metal in them, so it didn't really add up that one thing that was metal stayed behind while the other didn't, right? Perhaps it is, nonetheless. Man died as a consequence, didn't he?
Oh no!
Oh no, he's gonna feel guilty.
You're right, you're so right. It's all my fault. I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being.
Gosh, this guy can be really hard on himself, huh? He's very emotional. Well, that might be a little over the top.
And while we're on the subject, what about Barack? He's been awful.
Blaming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean?
He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being.
Barack has issues, you know, that are clearly unresolved.
Oh, but no, wait, he's a Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as a Homo sapiens anymore.
Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you?
Oh, yes, what?
The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved. We still need to meet whoever the engineer is that assisted, right?
I'll do the plans for the machine with my very own hands.
And we also have to figure out how all this ties back to the thievery at Madame Truspell's, because presumably it's connected in some fashion, right?
Every line was painstakingly drawn to firm believe that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Rio, you must believe in it.
Alright. Alright, Professor. I understand. Counsel defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please. Alright, great. Let's do it. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. Practical implementation, such as what's attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. Yeah, and Iris agreed with him. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Yeah, exactly. Alright, back in court. Trial part 2, presumably. After a little recess. Let's see who the witnesses are going to be.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zeeks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes.
Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect, a detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. I hope it's our buddy Hosonaga, by chance, but I feel like it's not. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Right? Oh my word. Oh, Gina, of course. I forgot. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear.
My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the Experimento stage.
Oh, God. You know who this reminds me of? It's a very specific reference. This reminds me of the kid villain from Resident Evil 4. You know? Let me look at something actually. Look at the. Okay, that's way too big of a person. And we also met them at the. It's at the mysterious trainee of Van Zeeks is probably Kazuma.
My name is.
Oh gosh. I was gonna give him a normal voice. My name is Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. Alright, that's close enough. I have come to see the great exhibition Ve from my home in Bohemia. Cute. I'm very rich. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective, even Arlock Sholm agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition. I got to go up in one of my balloons. It was amazing. Gina again? She did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon actually, didn't she? That's going to be critically important, I imagine, having that vertical vantage point. She clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
You make it sound like they were in the clouds.
It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet, about 18 meters then.
Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court.
Before we do that, let me look at these drawings. Does this have measurements on it at all? No. Okay. Just wanted to see.
Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage.
Great. The view from 60 feet up.
It was an instant terrible.
I don't know if I said that right. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone, and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a look inside the cage, but no one went near after it. Crashed into the tower. Meh. A most extraordinary collective account, I must say. Let me read it over again real quick to myself. Balloons weren't damaged. Oh, that's false. We found the fabric. Huge bang. Another bang in the sky beside you. So that's interesting. That wherever they landed at was a bang as well. If he apparated in the sky, there was a bang there too. Cage appeared out of nowhere from the smoke. Yep. Cage fell. Crash. Great. Can I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically that there were 2 explosions. Yeah. More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places. Yes. I love this music when this comes in. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called bird cage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred, directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The bird cage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower. Man, this is tough to pick apart, right? As to explain it without it actually transporting. Because not only do you have to make him in the cage appear at another location, but you also have to make the current cage and him disappear, right? So that's something you can easily do with like a double or something, you know? And it's weird that there would be an explosion at 2 locations if it was something like it was shot really quickly out of a cannon, you know? I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes vis a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. Right? Adorable. That guy's gonna run out of balloons. Excuse me. I still have lots of money. Precisely who is this curious infant? That's a great line. I am told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition. Ja, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip to visit my elementary school. Probably shouldn't have that deep of a voice, but we're committed. We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. If there is a benefit to that. Do we really need that? Then I remove my mask. This is what I look like. Yes, I see a delightful face, I'm sure. Ja. Everybody says so. Curious about, and I think there's going to be some relevance here, where the bump on the head comes from, why it's wrapped. Great disguise then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the fact for this court, the facts. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused who was with Mr. Asman on the stage could possibly have committed the murder. Yep. Again, our whole trial revolves around proving that this contraption doesn't actually work and that the murder could have been elsewhere, right? Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's view on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please. Yes, my lord. I feel like it still could have just been the engineer who fiddled with the machine, right? Because he would have the same motive as Hairbrain, right? Where he wants a larger cut of the grant. But we haven't met the engineer.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. See, all 3 of them. My bellissimi bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people would pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Earls have all the luck. I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Your Majesty's police card, you know. Detectives have all the luck. They're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident. Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. Right? Press on this. And presumably we're going to end up presenting on the first thing, right? Because... let's go and do it before we forget. Let's just go and present on this.
Objection!
Oh. Hate that. Hate that. What did I do wrong? I always skip. I feel bad for always skipping the dialogue whenever I fail. I'm just not in the mood to read it. Whenever I'm losing. Oh, here we go. We can examine it now. Let's do this first. Looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. Never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Jones' methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. The charring must have occurred when the person was struck. Or maybe not. Terrible deduction. Damn it. Alright, we can't work with that really right now at least. Let's get back over to this.
Hold it!
So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yep, isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, huh? I'm telling you, Otto, being a lawyer is a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything. We saw everything. Of course we were up there above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into that cage and that dodgy professor pulling on them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared, just like that. You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in the ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before. Let's pursue this. Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ? What did she say exactly that provoked that? Great fireball right next. My teacher at elementary school says that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use your full name. Yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. Just the 4 names then? Point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? Boy, get it right, Otto. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? That is not what I saw. Oh? Ja, there was a second explosion that was right beside a balloon, that is true. But I'm sure... Which is what I said, isn't it? 1 minute there was nothing there, and the next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school says that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Great. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? More balloons for our little boy. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. Green balloon? A green balloon. A green balloon. Piece of green cloth. Hey, you what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. It is not allowed. Playing the plead and royalty card, are ya? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. Great, that's the end we need, I think. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interests of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia, it was not the skies that exploded, it was the green balloons that was next to ours at the time.
Hold it!
Let's hear more about this, and then we'll try to present on this instead. Green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian Prince. All of these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored. Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior. Magazel, it is very wrong to lie. Dude, I just noticed that detail on his hat. His hot air balloon hat has a little fire in it. That's so sick. Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the players never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical. If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Might die. I will have the army come and shoot all your stupid balloons out of the sky, all of them. Great. Get yourself into the balloon, buddy. Here you are, Your Highness. Only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon? No, I did not see the explosion myself. However... Alright, we're gonna go back and present on the cloth. There we go.
Objection!
Get out of town. Get out of town. I'm not objecting. I'm presenting. I jinxed it at the start of the video. I was like, maybe we won't have more strikes today or whatever.
Hold it!
Did you see that actually happen? No. In reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grande confusion around the stage. I ran to see what happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. Suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear. Alright, let's get to it. Let me review one more time what was just said. After at the tower. Okay.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Use your head, Otto. That would have been me. I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So, because I weren't available, it was the boss who had a leg over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell you. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the stage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. Alright. Prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That's what I think happened. That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Alright, where are we presenting at? We tried presenting on this one. Let's look at our... Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure. Don't see anything that could be the cloth on him. Probably not relevant here. I already pressed on this, or did I not? No, we did press on this, because we double-checked that he was sure, I think. We'll do it one more time. Yeah, we did. Okay. I'm a little bit stuck here. Curious. I do love the whole coin gag. It's pretty fun, huh? What do we do? Ha ha ha. Okay. Yeah, it would have went way up. Well, hang on. Because they were in this balloon here. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. I misclicked. Oh, no. Oh. Bad. Now, what I was looking at was, right? This is their balloon, I believe, and exploded right next to them, so that wouldn't land on the tower. It's kind of interesting, right? Uh-huh. We already presented on this. The issue is that this directly contradicts what the first statement says. But we can't, like, pit them against each other, right? Huh. Beside us. Man, do I really just go for this again and think that maybe it's different this time? No. No one went near it after. Let's look at that again. Say in the autopsy report or anything? Yep. Yeah, we already checked this out. Nothing useful here. Dun dun. Seemingly nothing useful on the body. Wonder if this feels like it's not the time to do the contraption. Man, I'm just gonna go for this one again with the extra evidence of the other testimony. Now it works. That's so dumb. Miss Loon, in your testimony, you said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. I think it's maybe... See, parts of a balloon? A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope? Pardon? That is a large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from the very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Mr. Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, and your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. I loved how his balloons popped. The balloon exploded that day, then why did the man say so? Maybe I ran bogus to you. Oh no, I haven't just spent 10 old pounds for the experience? How awful. Seems to me I did inside over 50%.
Objection!
I don't know why I did all those voices. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon. Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This I cannot accept. Why not, Mr. Lune? You are suggesting that I am a liar. That person's died in a balloon accident incident. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Lune. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Lune is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is not possible. You're saying it's impossible? Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day.
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other than the balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon. Great. I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Grazie, my lord. Man, I don't know if I'm getting these words right at all. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. They fell to the ground in an explosion with a catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can you? Coppers at the yard and rectum was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. Very true. So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you? Si, exactamente. He even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war. Balloon time. All better. What happened to all that war? Miss Luna certainly doesn't appear to be lying. That doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witnesses' statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
Exactly. That's what we do, baby. Cross-examines every day of the week. Wow, there was 5 lines, so it felt less than that.
Hold it!
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? Signor, I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grande and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. Clearly says a total of 3 balloons. Great report.
It would appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Mr. Straw could have been sent for such a menial task. What, me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said he had to go himself in that case. Okay. Great point. We would have known about more deaths if one of his balloons exploded. It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Lunate, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry. That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and a balloon flies because it flies. What else? This guy doesn't know how his balloons work. That must be Italian for I don't know. There are 2 types of flying balloons, of course, Svanseasons. Hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See? And my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen, lighter than air, but highly explosive.
Good lord.
I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion, explosion. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Lune had 3 balloons in the air that day. None of them were damaged. Then what was the one that exploded?
Hold it!
I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. Always works out way better. Diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is though, the cage went crashing into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Makes perfect sense. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Oh, listen to ya. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have ya? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, There was talk of some scorching on the ground at a meeting we'd had about the investigation. Yeah.
Hold it!
There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the codes who were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Ooh, ominous. Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh? The man's sole pleasure. None of this matters. That scrap of the balloon envelope means nothing, niente. Right? Calm down, bud.
Hold it!
You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. You wouldn't notice an exploding balloon if it happened on a different day as well. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier dates, unfortunate as I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been from an earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Si, exactamente. As the senor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. Pursue?
Excuse me.
Let's see what he's got. Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Orsmenstein. It was on the tip of my tongue. Ja, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, Ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is this evidence? To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim. Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here. Good gracious. What? I had not been up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the Hod's Eels cellar, the balloon, and the instantaneous kinesis experiment. Did you take a picture of that? Ja, one picture. Really, you did take one. But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that, can you show us that photograph? Of course, and then you will see. You will see that I am not lying, that I really did see a green balloon. Man, all this stuff just to get to the green balloon. There it is. In black and white. Well, I see you're all too shocked to speak. Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man. Ja, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault, that is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. That's one very bohemian sounding cry. That's the dumbest sound I've ever made in my life. Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence. Great. So this should work. Because if I look at it, it's probably not striped. It's not my fault, it's the fault of the person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. Then I pressed the shutter release. There's a... Jesus Christ. There was this very loud bang. And a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you've... Wrong voice, sorry. Lovely language you've picked up. Alright, as I thought, Mr. Luna's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon, but Mr. Luna vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Alright, let's look at this photograph. Is it striped? It is definitely not striped. It is plain cloth. What's more is it appears empty? That's interesting. Okay. So let's get to the one we talked about being striped. Oh, also this one, the one doesn't have passengers too. Maybe we can present on that as well. Papa. Are you kidding me with this? There's no stripes. You can see there's no stripes. Alright, we have to do the one about the passengers, and that one's more. That one's easier. Oh gosh, we're getting so close to being totally boned. Man, and I don't think we're very close to a checkpoint either. We might still have a summonation examination to go as well. Let's go back. Wait. This one? No passengers in this photo. None.
Objection.
There it is. Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gots took can't tell us the color of the balloon. But it can tell us something else, something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Oh my goodness, you're right. Surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the picture balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. A mysterious green balloon. I know nothing, niente. I can only tell you one thing. This balloon was not carrying passengers, and it was not one of mine. Yeah.
Objection.
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Luna's patch without him realizing. See, that competition trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asmian was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all, it was bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, they didn't get no attention. Mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection.
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case. Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Here it comes. Here it comes. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more? Learn from it? There is more.
Objection.
It's not aiming up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. Photograph from Mr. Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue. What's that? A vital clue?
Objection.
Overexcited magician. He looks a lot like the magician from that episode of House. We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now. So tell the court what exactly... Oh. Look at it again. Oh. This is the cause of the explosion, isn't it? This is probably shooting up from the crossbow device, right? Oh, there's Hairbrain over there. There's Assman, probably, presumably. Although that could be a dummy, but I doubt it. We can reasonably assume that the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Ja, that's right, Ja. It was not my fault. Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection.
No, that's not what happened. What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of the alleged clue in this photograph for the court. Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. Yep, it's the crossbow thing. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. Let me just do this.
Take that.
Yep. Timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort. If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is. Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes? Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning? But it couldn't have been a finer day. I believe we may be looking at fire. A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. And give all these old people the same voice. Indeed, even to my age and eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection.
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection.
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that exactly what did happen. What evidence? If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man! Oh, shit. The crossbow thing.
Take that.
The true nature of the curious, slim streak of light is revealed by this. Curious answer, with a slim chance of being the correct one, I feel. It looks somewhat like a piece of firework, but whereas fireworks dazzle their audience, you fizzle out in a remarkable... No way. Get out of town, I was right. Hang on. What else could it have been? Nothing here. What? 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 What else could it have been? Could it be that this was not aiming up when it was supposed to? What the fudge? You know, usually what I do whenever I fail is I play it back, right? Live. But this time what I think I'm going to do is next time, I'm going to play back to where we were at.
Guilty.
And next time we're going to start right before this moment.
Guilty.
And we're going to hopefully get it right next time.
Guilty!
I mean, we have limited options. We won't be wrong 5 times, but... What the heck? How is it not the crossbow thing? That makes no sense. Guilty verdicts feel so bad. It's terrible. Not fun for us. But, yeah, this is where we're going to stop today. We're going to continue the case next time. We'll hopefully finish this section of the trial. I feel like we have a summation examination coming, but who knows. Let me go to retry from the scene and save real quick. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all are amazing. How far back does it put us, actually? Oh, we're right here. I lied. We're going forward. I thought we were going to have to replay much more. Is there anything to actually look closer at with this thing? I don't think so. So what I want to do is try this, I think. Because it's aiming up when in the other photograph it's simply not aiming up, right? It's aiming straight instead.
Take that.
No, this is wrong too. This is wrong too. This is wrong too. It won't be the photograph itself, will it? Not that. Presumably nothing in this one. We're gonna try this anyway.
Take that.
Just because there's only so many options. It's gotta be one of these. Let me look at the court. Oh, it's probably not in the history anymore. From when I failed before. Oh, it is still here. Let's go back. Yeah, I did present the mysterious contraption. Okay. So I've tried the contraption that... Scorch marks at the edges, that's not it. Stab with a sharp object. So we have 3 guesses left. We have this. Let me double check we can't do anything else on the... Yeah, because when you zoom in on it, you can't present on anything. Yeah. So we've done this. So we have really like 3 things left. I don't think it's ever going to be the screwdriver. There's a small chance it could be... Man. Let me look at this again. Nothing there. Back has nothing to do with it. Okay. Look one more time. See if there's anything we can look at on this, and then it'll change how it's presented. No. Oh. 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 There is something. Ah, there's some sort of lever here. I knew it was a... God dang it. What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. Alright. Whatever. I was right. I just didn't undo the crossbow all the way. This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene. Good lord, is that a crossbow? An arrow dipped in oil inside a light could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately... Blimey, you're right. That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it? Then, the explosion of the balloon, it was... Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. This all makes perfect sense to me. Order! Council, this is an extraordinary supposition. The aim was to cause the balloon to explode. The shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had shot off a gun in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? A flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, and obviously it would have exploded. If the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... Well, wait a minute, you're really saying here... I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or... what? Yeah, that part makes no sense till the birdcage bit. My goodness me. Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. What, did I just hear that correctly, Council? That makes sense. I was thinking that in the back of my mind, I swear. Like if you watch a magician movie, right? They often have these contraptions that are very, like, smaller than they should. Like, they're small, but then they expand, right? That seems to be something that could have easily happened there. We're also over time for sure. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground. Okay. Causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. Okay. The arrow is probably what pierced his chest. And maybe because it was like a wood arrow or something, it burnt and there wasn't really any evidence left, right? From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Good grief. Here comes,
Objection!
Yep. This is ludicrous. What you described is no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemptible display of stage magic. Both Mr. Schultz and I said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day. And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? Body double. Mannequin on the stage fell below the stage with a trap door. If I may put in a word as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3? All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman, and having this other man appear on stage to front the show as a body double. Very true. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. Oh, that's a good point too. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture. Maybe they grabbed someone and did it against their will, right? Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio. Juror number 4? Good thing we have all these geniuses in the jury box, huh? Flying balloons are filled with very pure oxygen, hydrogen, and a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio. Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns, that would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception, to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred. Well, goodness me. And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant who was on stage in full view the entire time. Yeah. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zieks can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrine is a suspect now. Who was this? Who is this? Oh my god, no. We're stopping there. We're gonna see how Mr. Harebrine's gonna ruin everything next time, right? That's the plan. We're gonna see how Harebrine ruins things next time, because that's what he does. But yeah, we actually did end up progressing today, so that's good. We didn't end up in a big loop and have to redo stuff, so that was great. We just redid a little bit. But that's all. Thank you all so much for watching. Y'all are amazing. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Make sure that you take care of others, and I will see you next time. Peace out.